a few seconds. All right, we're up and running. So I've got 3 parts tonight. I'll see if anybody has any questions on course structure. Some people ask when it came to the other night when we had our chat. So if you have any questions about how we're going to operate, fire away. Anybody have any of those?
I have a question about how we are supposed to do our notes.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So how are we supposed to do, the example that was given on the video was obviously a paper version, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it electronically. So I've been kind of using like snippets and using like the edit tool. How do you want us to do it that way?
That's an excellent question. My suggestion would be, I think you should write them down in a notebook. And then when it gets close to the time when we need to convert our notebook into electronic form or take pictures, and then just move it, and then you just put the pictures right in your document.
Okay.
That way I can actually see the diagrams you drew, the little scratching, like if you did a little calculation off to the side, anything like that. So that would be my suggestion. Don't try making it electronic yet. I would say that when we get closer to week 4.
Okay, so we don't have to submit anything until week 4?
That's correct.
Okay.
So I will collect the notebooks 3 times. Units. Once after the first unit, and we'll do that, right before the test. And once after the second unit, and once after the third unit. So 3 times, and you will get 3 notebook grades. Question. Thank you for asking. Hear it? I see your face now. Are you up there? Can you hear me? See him? Okay, well, who knows? That might be a still photo. Can't tell. All right. I am going to, and here's where it gets a little tricky. I'm going to have to share my screen, and this is always the hardest part technology-wise. If I suddenly disappear, hang in there. I'll be back in 5 minutes. But you don't have to do anything new. Just wait for me, okay? All right. So I am going to do my sharing now. Let's hopefully that'll work fine. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, I got a freeze, unfortunately. Just what I was hoping. So what I'm going to do is when I come back, I will have my camera off, and I'll be sharing the screen. So if you can just hang on a few minutes, I should be back shortly.
Watching Dr. Phil.
You go? I don't know. Bible.
Okay, I'm back.
Is this yours or David's, Mom?
Share my screen. I'm having trouble with the screen sharing. Okay, I'm going to have to try this a little more thorough way. Hang in there. I'm coming back again.
Okay.
What's wrong? What's wrong? What? Can you find him? It's not a reason to cry.
Because I never found him anywhere else.
It's so weird where they went.
Those are my favorite ones too.
Where else could they have gone? Check it up. Check maybe Grandma's got to fold them. Bring your those baskets upstairs.
Your what? Favorite? What are they? They look so loud. If I find them again, I'll be right away. Next, I'm gonna do one of the baskets, the baskets.
I would say clean the room. I bet you $5 baskets in there. Somewhere. $5. Okay.
Hello.
Hey there. Who is this? Who's just joined?
My name is Bill.
Hey, Bill. This is Paul.
Paul, it's a
Down in
pleasure.
the corner.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Same here. Ron is having some technical challenges trying to do a screen sharing. So he's just stepped out, but he'll be joining us momentarily.
Okay, great to hear. So what do you think so far?
We're getting there. We're getting there. So far, so good. I was telling Ron, I thought the videos were really good. I started diving into the book, and the book's a little dry, but at least you got the video that helps explain it in real terms.
Yeah, it looks like a combination of applied mathematics and Aristotelian logic, but I don't quite.
Okay, I'm here again. Now,
Hey, there he is.
here's my next attempt at sharing the screen. I've been trying to just figure out what, I don't know, memory causes a problem, but I got my camera off. Let's see if this will work this time. Yeah, here we go. So I want screen one. Okay, share. Okay, you guys should be seeing my screen now.
Yes.
I don't exactly want you to see that, but anyway, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up some of our lessons for today. Well, that's right, I got to reload.
Is that
Okay.
Egypt?
Well, we'll do it right now. So the next thing we're going to do is see if you have any questions on 1.1. That's where I'm headed here. I had this all ready to go, but that's okay. So the 1.1 assignment, all about what? Inductive and deductive reasoning. And you were looking what? For patterns?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, this is what I wanted you to see. This is the tool I normally use in the classroom. It's my electronic writing tool. Okay, so and yeah, I didn't welcome everybody. Thank you for welcoming some of the others. Evidently, Amy is on board. Welcome, Amy. Questions? Let's see. Let me just here's what the assignment was, except I crossed out number 9. But here's what the assignment was on 1.1. Want to go through any of those or talk about any of them?
Number 9 is it start with after? Are we in the right place?
Yeah, except that 9, like I said, if you looked on the assignment, a line through it like this.
Uh-huh.
So you didn't have to do 9, but we can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the book. It says, after how many calls would it save you money to change from a light use plan to a standard plan?
Yep. Okay, here's one way I looked at the problem. There's 3 different charges there. You got no monthly fee for occasional, $1.95 monthly fee for light, and standard $9.95. But of course, you get different number of free calls per month. So here is saying, okay, the question was, yeah, when are we better off changing from light to standard? So light is $1.95 plus 15 cents times all the calls over 10. So that's this language right here. So you got to pay the monthly fee right here, and then you pay 15 cents for all the calls over 10. That's why I wrote the number of calls you make. Then X minus 10 would be how many calls over 10. Okay, and then on the standard side, you pay $9.95 cents for every call over 100. So I don't know. Does that so this is the algebra way of looking at it. By the way, this problem was a little too rough. That's why I didn't assign it. But anyway, does that make any sense?
It makes sense, of course, but I don't see the formula for solving this in the reading.
It's not in there.
Oh, that explains it.
I'm going to show you another way to do it, but again, both ways are really kind of beyond the text. That's why I didn't assign this problem. And you maybe didn't see that the 9 had a little line through it.
No, I did not.
It maybe doesn't show up very well, but if you look on number 9, there's a little, it's crossed out. But the reason I stuck it in there is you needed it to get my pattern. You know, the 1, 5, 9, the every other odd. Do you follow me?
Yes.
Anyway, that's what. So anyway, let's just finish talking about it as long as I have it up here. So then I just did a little multiplication. I was able to get it down to this point right here. Let me change to my red pen. So now I got down to here. And then I just solved for x, and it turns out 63rd call, you break even. Can't make a third of a phone call. So what does that mean? When after 60, on the 64th call, you're better off having changed over to a standard plan. You can also do it with a spreadsheet, but again, this problem, it shouldn't have. That's, if you look closely, I tried to cross out the number 9, but anyway. Let's go on to some others that maybe. I'm sorry about the confusion. If you want, I can show you their spreadsheet approach to this too. Yeah, let's go on to a different. I think we're probably better off if we spend time on the ones I did mean. So anybody, other questions on lesson 1.1?
I'm going to ask just a general abstract question. I did not meet on, I believe, Monday, so this might have been addressed then.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
What is the expected end result of the course after 9 weeks? What should one have learned, accomplished? What is the goal, even if one does not fully grasp the content? Is it to learn how to think? Because for me personally, it looks like a combination of mathematics and Aristotelian logic, how to think.
That's a pretty good way to describe it. See, I don't know what you have viewed, but really, one of the things I talk about, I think it's in the first lesson, is, what is mathematics? People have been trying to define that for a long time. But one way to define it is what? A way to describe patterns and discover patterns. In a way, you're trying, and if you can discover patterns, you can solve all kinds of problems. I mean, for example, even police, when police are trying to solve a crime, they call it the, let's look for the perp's MO, his modus operandi. In other words, what patterns? Oh yeah, he always writes a message in lipstick on the mirror, or he leaves a silver bullet, or I'm just making this stuff up. But the point is, hey, we have evidence that this guy 3 miles of where place. Okay, so now we've got several patterns. We know some things he leaves on the crime scene. We know he's within 3 miles. And anyway, this idea of pattern recognition.
Okay, that's helpful. Pattern recognition. I can write that down. Okay.
Pattern recognition, and sometimes math is a good way to help you describe those patterns.
Okay, so pattern recognition and a way of describing those patterns in a written fashion. Got it.
And then once you've got the pattern, you can go, aha, anticipation really is correct. I don't have proof, but it's looking like this pattern works. You might even be able to then, predict. And when you can do that, of course, then you're doing really active problems. And this can be applied on the job and in all kinds of applications. I'm trying to figure out, why does this sink leak only after a crazy thing like that? What's the deal? Oh, and you get to the bottom of the pattern. Usually that'll give you a clue as to what part is failing or what in the world is happening. That's real general, but yeah, you're right. It is clear thinking. That's got a lot to do with it. And by the way, I picked the 3 topics.
Okay.
The first one, really, for 2 sets, is logic. Chapter 8, geometry, but not the kind of geometry you had in high school. where there it was mostly what? Proofs?
Yeah, mostly yes, proofs.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing proofs, but there's a lot of practical things that happen in life that are based on shapes and configurations. And anyway, I picked 3 topics. Reachable. And yet most people, except for geometry, most people haven't had much background in sets and logic. And they're besides the fact that they're simple, they're really powerful. The idea was we would be handing you people some kind of extra powerful tools that should help in whatever it is you do.
So when we're given a problem, we'll be given a formula like a Pythagorean theorem or something, or like algebra, something that we can use as a template to plug in. Because right now I'm reading through some of these problems and I have no idea what formula goes with what.
Well, which tell me, are you talking about 1-1 or 2-1?
Both. I mean, I'm reading through it. Usually, the last experience I had was algebra, and they give you, they give you a formula, then they give you problems, then you go through it, and then you'd excel accordingly. But I don't see set.
Well, okay, it's not always formula. Sometimes it's a pattern. Like here, let me just trying to. Did you catch my lesson on the method of differences? Yeah. So like here's a sequence on the screen now. 1, 5, 12, 35. Is there a pattern there? Well, it's not immediately obvious. So I do the method of differences and I find out from 1 to 5 is 4. From 5 to 12 is 7. 10, 13. Okay, that changes. But look at now. You notice how every one of those goes up by 3? So we actually one more level, then it looks like this. And everybody should see a pattern in the bottom row. It's identical, 3, 3, 3. Okay, we found a pattern, even though it took me a couple levels. So this is not a formula, a little technique for helping you maybe discover a pattern.
Okay, got it.
So it's you're right. In your past, I don't blame you for going to algebra because that's pretty much everybody's math past. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of that, but there will also be some other new, fairly simple technique to discover patterns.
Okay, all right. I guess what I'm asking for is directions, because usually there is, even in high school geometry, there are directions and then there are example problems to exercise the directions and then to understand the theorem or to understand the equation or to understand the thought processes behind it. Where this, I'm looking at things that are all over the place, all different types of, like you described, patterns, but there isn't like one coherent theorem that I can use to solve each pattern. So I'm really quite befuddled.
I think it's a little bit better than what you're saying. For example, what we were just talking about, this discovering patterns like we just did on the screen there.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you could call that a technique. I think it is. But if you look in the book, after they show you this technique, they have several examples. I don't know if you have your book handy.
Yes, I do.
On page 7, there's an example 3. Example 3, they're having you do a sample problem that could use this technique.
Is this predicting the number of regions? Okay.
And then there's a pattern again on 5 on page 9 where they talk about the planets.
Yeah, this looks like what's called the enneagram here, and then the planets. Yeah, I guess I'm used to just more learning. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You have basic mathematics, and then you have your pre-algebraic, x's and y's, things like that. Algebra, then trigonometry, college algebra, which you deal with the graphs and these kinds of things. That's as far as I got. I can't make heads or tails of any of this. It's like all over the place.
So you can't make heads or tails of what I have on the screen?
I understand the pattern, but I don't understand the formula to unearth the pattern, to uncover. I mean, unless you're talking about just intuitive logic.
No, I'm talking about, for example, what I did on the screen. Didn't I just subtract? It's 4. 5 is 7.
I don't see a subtraction sign or anything. I see a 1, a comma, a 5, a comma, and a 4 beneath, and I'm in the 7.
Okay. I told it from 1 to 5.
Okay. So there's a 4 beneath. What does that mean?
That's what I just asked. How far is it from 1 to 5? If your team was in first place and next week they were in 5th place, what happened? How many places did they drop?
4.
Good. I didn't tell you to subtract, but you figured that out. All I'm saying is, what's the difference between 1 and 5? Change of 4. What's the difference from 5 to 12? Oh, there's a difference of 7. So, I mean, all right, here, we'll write it on the side. So, it's called, what did I call it in the video? The method of differences.
Correct.
And the word difference is a name for subtraction. So I know this is not algebra, and I'm not going to be giving you algebra formulas to solve things, but I am going to give you, I'm never going to send you off on a journey without giving you some really strong clues about what kinds of techniques. Now, this particular one where you use the method of differences on clues, and that should help you. Those problems on the assignment where they say, can you find the next 3?
Okay.
Now, they don't all go up. Sometimes the patterns are different, but this is supposed to get you thinking, okay, what happened from 1 to 5? What happened from 5 to 12? Now, if you look in your book, and if you could move over to page 11.
Okay.
Go down to number 19.
One moment. Okay, 19. Got it.
So we got these numbers 1, 5, 2, 6, 3. Well, happening like it was on the screen. To go from 1 to 5, we what? Went up 4. Down 3. Then we went up 4. Then we went down 3. It looks like up 4, down 3 is our pattern. You see that? You see how that repeats? Up 4, down 3.
Yes.
Down 3.
I see that.
So on that one, there's the key to that pattern. So they're not all like the one on the screen where they go up, but just by kind of talking it through, you should be able to discover a pattern. Look at it in a while.
Okay.
So no, there is not a step 1, step 2, step 3, smile. You are done and happy and going to mathematical heaven. No, we're trying to get you guys a little tougher as you actually have to discover the pattern.
But from a practical point of view, if you don't discover it, your grade will reflect it. Whereas if you're given rules and then you follow the rules and you come to the end with your work, the professor can come over, correct your work, you can see where the area is, and then you can go and do it again and do it correctly. And then when the final comes in, you can do the problem correctly according to the rules, and you'll come to your final answer. Whereas this seems to be a lot of guessing and kind of internal logic. I'm going to give it the best shot I can, Doctor. I'm going to do the best I can with it, but this is very, very different than my prior experience in mathematics.
And you are correct. It is different. If you stick with, in many ways, it can be even simpler than what you previously had. It's just that you have to adjust. Like these patterns that we just talked about, they're not very hard. They just, yeah, they're a little different. Yeah, this is you're right. This is a shift in thinking, and if there's a little bit of an adjustment there.
Okay, got it.
Wait, there is one thing you said that is that if you try and you can't find the pattern, you basically have failed, and that is not correct. So
Okay.
if I look at your notebook and I see that you tried maybe 3-4 things to try to find a pattern, boy, you're going to get a good notebook grade from me. This is not all about answers. This is about kind of the struggle and on the way there. Now, if I see a blank page and somebody says, I don't get it, but I mean, if you actually do some things, that doesn't mean you have failed.
Okay, I got it. Because I took college algebra at the University of Wisconsin-Madison about 20 years ago, and I went through the same experience as you in your introduction. I was actually laughing because my TA couldn't speak English either, and I went to talk to the professor. You're in a hall with 500, 600 people, and you walk up there. By the time you walk up there, he's out the door. He could care less, and but. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and so true. Yeah,
so true.
And I'm actually glad it happened to me because it has affected how I teach. So, by the way, that's the other thing. You do got an ally, and he's sitting on this right now.
Okay.
You're having a little trouble. Keep coming back. I promise you, I will try to nudge you in the right direction, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay with this. This is not nearly as hard as college algebra.
Oh, I wish that was so. Maybe I just need to read this book a little longer because
you got to do a little bit of trusting of me too. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who never even high school algebra 1 and this course. So it's not. That's what I'm trying to say about complexity. It's different. Hang in there.
Okay.
Fine. By the way, this maybe isn't the best lesson to get into this too deeply on because be an introduction to. I mean, this is how you solve problems in life too, isn't it? You find the pattern. What's wrong? I start the car in the morning. It has this weird little noise. And usually you wind up describing this pattern to the mechanic, right?
Sure.
And then he says to you, well, wait a minute. What happens if the car's been sitting there for 5 days? And what is he doing? He's looking for more clues about the pattern. So anyway, hang in there. It really is a technique that's, and I'm pretty sure you can grasp this. Hang in there.
All right.
Okay. Somebody else. Does anybody have a problem you want to take a look at from lesson 1.1?
I have 2 questions for you.
Or other questions?
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One is on terms. You had listed a few terms in the video, and then there's additional terms listed in the book. Do you want us to, in our notes, to capture all of them?
Really focus in on the ones in the video.
Just the ones in the video? Okay.
Because
and then
that guy who did that video is the guy who's going to write your test.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
and then
right.
second.
Okay, go ahead.
And then the second question I have is in the table of contents example you had given us. You talk about terms, notes, and then listing examples. Some of the problems that you're doing in the videos where we should be showing the work there, or what are the examples?
They can be there's two main sources. The ones that I actually do in class, which is the ones in the videos. And by the way, I usually on a typical lesson, I'll usually do, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 examples, maybe 7. Maybe if you had 2 or 3 in your notes, that would be fine. Don't try to put them all down, okay? And the
So we don't
other
have to,
source,
so all the examples from the book, we don't have to go through those.
no, if you do, you'll know it better, but you certainly don't have to put all those in your notes, no.
Oh, cool. Excellent. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. With the book, there's probably, and mine, and by the way, if you go on the web notes, I always pick different ones there. You probably may have 10, 12 examples. I just want some examples in your notes, like 2, 3, maybe.
Okay.
When you look back at your books, when you're studying for the first test, I think those examples will help you recall a problem.
Right. They're just like what you have on the screen right now. I think that those are
Yeah.
helpful.
Exactly. Yeah, good question. Thank you. Next question.
Yeah, I guess I'm still grasping out there, Professor, as to what we're looking to solve. Because if you take like a history course, obviously, you want to learn history at a certain time period. If you're taking philosophy, you're going to want to learn, what the individual's thought processes were. If you, on and on and on. What I still am at a look patterns. Okay. Patterns as
Okay.
as applied to life in general, or
Something that I think might be helpful to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our webpage. And this may not be exactly what you wanted, but I just want to show you something on here. You were saying what specific, I remember in the beginning of your question, you said like, what specifically do you want me to know?
Yeah, exactly. What is it? What is the expectation?
Yeah, here's week 1 for this week. These right here, objectives for the week. Those are the things I really want you to learn for week 1.
But don't we use these already instinctively or intuitively in daily life? That
Some you do. Yeah.
inductive and deductive logic, doesn't our creator, or maybe I'm just different, but doesn't our creator endow us with these, naturally?
All right. Can you tell me the difference between inductive and deductive?
In actual word form, no, but in actual daily life, as to looking at a problem specifically, it's natural thought processes, unless you're
Well, no, I think it's a little bit more than that. It's not just, and I've got a procedure here.
Okay.
There's some organization to it, and that. So it sounds to me like you have a little argument with this textbook.
I can't make, to be perfectly honest, and we're both Christians. I'm gonna tell you, I can't make heads or tails of it. Inductive reasoning is the process of arriving at a general conclusion on the basis of repeated observations of specific examples. Automatically, by the time an adolescent is perhaps 13, 14 years old, they're doing that. Even younger. That is just, that's how you think.
Yeah,
From a
I agree.
psychological point of view, that is the thought processes.
I agree, but the problem we were just looking at, which you said you'd see what I was doing. Basically, what we were doing is using inductive reasoning, and it didn't seem to come supernatural to you at the moment.
Well, no, not supernatural, Professor, but I didn't, when looking at it, I didn't understand what the under the smiley face looking things were. If it was, minus sign to something, or if it was in an actual more, I'm trying to understand is what I'm not trying to challenge. I'm trying to understand, and that is all. That is all. So correct me
Well,
if I'm wrong.
that you're trying to do those things. I think it's a little early to give up on it.
Okay, no, I'm not giving up on it. I'm trying to comprehend what I'm trying to do with these things.
What we're trying to do is, some of those things you called natural, and I wouldn't disagree with that. Some of those things we're trying to better capitalize on some of those skills we have and are thinking so that we can make better use of that type of reasoning.
Okay. Fair enough.
Most people don't do much of this.
Okay.
And that's half the reason we have a lot of problems.
I'd agree with that. Especially in the Middle East.
Yeah, you got it. So this is, I guess you could say a lot of this is somewhat natural, but we're trying to really put in some categories where you can pull that technique up when you really need it. So anyway, you and I, sounds like we need to have a phone call and talk about this. Going to give everybody a chance here. You have very good questions discussing this with you.
Okay. All right. Good enough, Professor. I'm going to grab something to eat, and then we'll talk soon. All right. You have a good evening. God bless you.
Thank you. You too. God bless.
Hey, Professor. This is Chris here. Just looking over the homework. Since we've almost covered all of chapter 1, will we be touching on chapter 2 today, this week, or will that be a Monday? Monday's a holiday.
Supposed to be.
I don't know if we're going to have anything going on Monday, but
yeah. So for this week, went from I don't know. I counted it as starting on Monday, the 22nd.
Yep.
Probably Sunday night. Is kind of week 1. So by the time that's over, I want you to have thought through and tried all the assignment work and taken notes on the 1.1 lesson and the 2.1 lesson. And then when we start next day, well, now we're into week 2.
Yeah.
And then what do we have? 3 new lessons: 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4. So that doesn't mean we have to, but that's what I try to do, go by that schedule. So
yeah, okay. I was just curious. I had some questions in 2.1, but that's all right.
No, I think we should go there tonight, and I just didn't expect we were going to spend that much time on that one issue. Maybe since I didn't hear any others, why don't I do that? Let me pull up the other file. Instead of this one, I'm going to put that down, and let's bring up, I haven't loaded it yet. I will do that right now. No, you're right. The lesson 2.1. I didn't realize we spent that much time talking about that.
No worries.
Okay, so it's coming up. What questions would you like to ask about 2.1? Whoever that was.
Anyone else? I was actually looking at 2.2, but yeah, 2.2 is a little bit more challenging than 2.1.
Well, let's see if there's any questions on 2.1 first.
Yeah, can we go to can we simply just go to 17? I don't, other than what's in the back of the book, can you kind of explain what they're actually looking for?
Can you repeat the number again?
17.
You're on lesson 2.1. You're on page 61 then.
Correct.
Okay, okay, there are 3 ways to describe a set. One of them is just listing it out like they did in the book.
Yeah.
Eve. Okay. Another way is to describe it with words. Third way that sometimes fit, called set builder notation. I'm not going to repeat the whole lesson right now, but 17, write a verbal description. You could say the set that has the first two human beings created by God. In other words, just a word way of describing the set.
Okay.
That's it. That's all there is to that when they say a verbal description.
Okay. Easy enough.
You know, like 18, although they're challenging it now, you could say the set of all discoverers of America. And of course, that's being challenged. I'm sure you've watched shows that say Columbus was not the first. But anyway, that's the idea. It's just a matter of another way of writing it, another way of describing it just with words.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand.
Let's just do a couple numbers. Like, for example, how about number 22? Beginning with 3 that are multiples of 3. 36. So in other words, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4. So in other words, they're multiples of 3. So that would be one way. I mean, it may not be your way, but that.
No, yeah, that's easy enough. Multiples of 3. You're kind of just giving a description of what's going on. That's it.
And you might find a better way to describe that than I just did. Anyone else out there have a question on?
Well, Chris brought up a really good point. Monday is a holiday.
Yep.
Virtual chat on Monday night? Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't. Would you rather meet on? What do you want to do?
I'm good with meeting on Monday night.
I mean, should we change it or should we? I'm just wondering what your thoughts are.
Monday nights seem to work well for getting together. As Chris said, 2.2, and the next lessons look a little more challenging. So I'm sure I'll have questions by Monday night.
So would you be in favor of maybe doing it this just 1 week alone, doing the Monday one on a Tuesday? I'm just trying to get ideas. I think you make a valid point about Monday being a holiday. Maybe we should lay off. That'd be fine. I'm just trying to, honestly, my goal is to try to reach out to you guys with as much, with 2 help sessions a week. Yeah, I'm okay if we want to trying a different night.
Yeah, that's fine. I have class Tuesday night at WLC, but I'll watch the video.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we leave it at this? Why don't you guys send me any suggestions on that? Would you?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I really do want to hear what you think, and you're right. I forgot about the holiday. But you see, the thing is, it takes to do this.
Yeah.
So we could take the holiday off, but I don't want to take away from my help to you.
Right, exactly.
Any suggestions, send them my way, okay? I don't know if we want to talk about that too much tonight. We could, but that's an next point.
I don't have anything else tonight.
How about anybody else out there? There's a bunch of people who have been quiet tonight. I'm scared off the rest of you.
My cousin teaches there. Her little boy graduated. Now she's graduated.
I got a feeling it wasn't intended for me. Okay, it sounds like we're running out. Is that true? Does anybody else have a question?
Good on this side.
I'm good here.
Okay, thanks for tonight. This is your first experience with this. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty.
And no, so my boy that took my
But I think what I'll do next time is I'll just come on and
I
we'll
know that, Tom.
video on my end and we'll go to the screen sharing right away.
Okay.
Okay, then, thanks everybody. There will be a recording of this up on the website.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.